Hey, it's Greg Sestero from The Room, and you are listening to Cinema Psycho Show.
Oh, goody, goody, here it comes.
Welcome to the Cinema Psycho Show.
You are interested in the unknown, the mysterious, the unexplainable. That is why you are here.
Oh my God, don't stop now!
With your hosts, Brian, John, and Elaine. Welcome to the Cinema Psycho Show, the madhouse for film freaks and film fans of all types. I'm your host, Brian Coddington, joined by my fellow co-hosts and filmmakers, John and Elaine Woolscroft.
Wait a minute, the Cinema Psycho Show? I thought we were the Sisterhood of Anti-Christmas.
Nope.
People frequently make that mistake. It's fairly common.
It's true. I'll just run into people on the street and they'll be like, "Are you a member of the Sisterhood of Anti-Christmas?" And I'm like, "No, look at that podcast about movies and stuff."
Oh, yeah. And
then
they'll
I'll
be
say,
like, "Sir,
where are your pants?"
Oh, I was going to say, "Sir, you can't pee there."
Sir,
We had the same idea. We had the same idea.
Yeah,
I love it.
sometimes when I'm out there in the woods, I'll just cut my hand on random candles that are just
It's
lit.
true.
What are
Gotta
you doing
watch
out there in
out
those
for 'em.
woods, pal? What's going on?
I'm trying to summon elves. Nazi
Who isn't?
incest elves.
Wait, you mean the type of elves that aren't working for Santa anymore?
Yes, that's correct.
Man, this is so random.
Hey, wait.
Brian, what episode are we
Yeah, I
on?
was going to say, what episode are we on here?
We're in episode 123.
123, guys. So,
And-
in case you haven't heard, we are going to be talking about 1989's Elves this episode.
And
God help us all.
Not
this-
the 2018 Elves, because there actually is another movie called Elves.
Is it as bad as this one?
I don't know. It's an indie film by Uncorked Entertainment, and I don't want to talk shit on them because they do send us screeners. Every
Oh,
once in
yeah,
a while.
no, Uncorked is cool. I just don't know if it's any good or not.
I think the 2018 one actually is more in line with what this one should have
trying
been.
to be. Yeah.
Was trying to be. It has
Well,
Santa involved.
I
It's got demon elves.
I think we might
good
have
ones.
to check it out.
Might have to.
Feel good
Yeah.
about it. But,
Well, we are entering into another edition of our pantheon of utter...
Yeah, this wasn't from your sack. We're done with your sack this year,
Yes.
thankfully.
Oh, you guys are done fondling my sack?
We're done
Never.
fondling your sack.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hashtag we're married.
You're
now.
not blowing my horn?
Whoa.
We're not
not-
jingling your bells.
Dude, I was going to say that. Yes. Or decking your halls.
Jack
But
off,
decking
nipping
your
at
halls
your
is like a
nose.
euphemism for
Or
violence.
stroking your candy cane.
Whoa.
Well, that one just sounds
Do you guys love? I
completely
love candy
undoubtedly
canes.
sexual.
Do you guys like
Oh, you
making?
do?
Do you guys like making them like sharp? I like making them a weapon.
Thank you,
Sure.
Elaine.
We're talking about Christmas shit.
Like,
you guys looking at me like I'm
diverged
fucking
here
psycho.
horribly.
We're literally in front of a Christmas tree, and you
Okay,
mentioned candy
but
canes.
what I'm saying is, like, you're literally saying, you know what I like to do? I like to take candy and turn it into weapons,
Yeah, it's a
So I
candy
can
cane.
kill
You
one
like,
motherfucker.
so I can kill motherfuckers.
you like get it down to like a really sharp implement. You can get that shit into a shiv. It's nice.
I just don't know why you diverged into
He said candy canes, and I was
Okay.
just talking about the
All right.
season. I was trying
Listen,
to be
we were
Christmassy.
talking dirty, and you went to violence.
I was trying to be Christmassy, okay?
Christmassy with implements.
I guess I'll just never join the discussion again.
no,
you
it's cool.
effers.
It's cool. It's cool.
But I mean,
Effers.
this movie though does have everything that you think about at the holidays: Christmas trees,
Virgins.
presents, Santa,
Fake titties.
Nazis,
Fake titties.
murderous cannibal elves.
So listen,
crotch
we're-
eating,
crotch eating.
I really do hate some of
incest,
these
all the
films
Christmas things.
because I don't like talking about shit like Nazis. It makes me uncomfortable. But I feel like we got to get through it.
You remember when Nazis were a kind of fictional ploy you would see in horror movies like that?
Or just like a historical element in the far distant past.
but I mean,
These are
like-
like real Nazis, these are like German Nazis.
yeah, but I mean, like, that was there was a time, and apparently it wasn't that long ago.
no,
when
a gentler time.
when Nazis were kind of like the uber villain, like they were in Indiana Jones, they were in this movie, nowadays apparently Nazis, it's not that bad.
It's just a thing. I mean, there's
It's,
there's good and bad on both sides. Brian.
It's Ted. He
Yes.
works in the warehouse. You know what I mean? Like,
Ted-
don't talk to Teddy. He's
Don't talk to Teddy.
He's an interesting fellow. Let
rough,
me tell you.
rough.
He seems to always
So-
dye his hair blonde. I don't know why. But he
So,
just
yeah,
does.
Where's those
So-
blue contacts?
All right, dear listeners. So buckle up. It's going to be a long Christmas Eve.
Oh yeah. And we got to get out and say that this one is just
Well,
off the bat. It's
well,
terrible.
John made us watch it a couple of years ago because he's the worst.
So
So
yeah, John, you want to explain how we were all introduced to this fucking movie?
Okay, it's my fault.
see, he readily admits it.
Yeah, I discovered this movie and I own it 2 copies on DVD and
one
a
on
VHS.
VHS.
Yeah.
We have them up as decorations.
Yeah, I personally, when I first put this movie in, and we'll break down the plot, a little bit here, but when the little boy, or when the main female character comes home and is smacked around by her German grandfather, and then has her little brother stare at her tits and brag about it, I was like, this movie's gonna be great.
This is what we need in our lives.
Yeah, but here's the problem. That's the first 10 minutes or so. You apparently didn't watch the rest of it
Well, yeah.
after that part, because honestly, that's the highlight. You know,
we had a party and there was alcohol when we watched this,
Yes.
and that made it much, much better. But
that's
it's
the
funny.
only way you can watch
Well,
this movie.
the first time I saw it, John and I saw it together, and we celebrate the season, and we have a lot of interesting traditions, and one of them is usually horror slasher Christmas movies.
Yeah.
In this case, it was this fucking wretched turd, but one of the things that it's just funny to me, we got street tacos that night, and to this day, when I get street tacos, it still makes me think of Elves. The taste and the smell, it just
get Las
reminds
Palmas?
me. Yeah, we got fucking Las Palmas from
wow.
Brookline Boulevard. Yeah, you know it.
Yeah.
Las Palmas and Brookline Boulevard and other locations. If
And
you want to
Beach
send
Street.
me free tacos, there
Oh
you go.
my god, I would die if they wanted to just come and just set up in the driveway. I'll tell you, one of the things that we did when we were house hunting is I didn't really want a house in Brookline because I knew if we lived close enough to Las Palmas, I would never make dinner again. And John would never eat dinner again. He would just get tacos every
You
night.
just live on tacos.
Right?
I mean, they're delicious. The chorizo
so
ones,
good.
especially. But anyway, this
Sorry.
isn't a taco podcast.
Well, there's one taco in this podcast.
Oh,
Hey,
wow.
Let me
not
see if it
This
has
is why
anything to
we're
say.
friends.
Not sorry. Hey, whoa.
Okay.
Do not point that at my vagina. What the fuck is wrong
I
with
want to
you?
see if it had anything to add.
That was a visual gag on an audio podcast.
We
by
were
the way.
guilty of that on so many levels.
So many times. Yeah.
But-
But yeah,
the-
one thing I want to say really quick
Yeah,
before
go
we
ahead.
move on to to breaking it down.
Oh, God.
This movie had 3 fucking writers. It took
Yep.
3 people to write this tale. So the first one is Jeff Mandel, who is the director. His
So it's
last
his vision.
His last IMDb credit is from 98, and he didn't really do anything noteworthy. The other writer is Mike Griffin, who must have just been the director's friend because it's his single credit on IMDb. It's literally the only thing he did. And then
That means they had a couple of beers and he said, hey, maybe put the word fuck instead of shit.
Or what do you think? I mean, I think
shit.
it was his best friend, from high school or whatever, and they're best friends. Oh, help me write this movie.
Yeah.
And
the
then
studio will give you some money too.
the third writer, though, Bruce A. Taylor, actually, he did have some steady work. He had some credits that were fairly recently. It looks like the biggest thing that he did was this show in around 94, 95 called Dead at 21.
Oh.
So, but it seemed like a lot of 90s riffic stuff, but he did have other credits. I mean, it seems like he's had a pretty steady career. So
What I love about Jeff Mandel's credits on IMDb
it's all trash.
is, oh my God, it's
90s trash.
pure 90s cheese trash.
Brian, I'm seeing Cyber Chick. How dare
Oh
you?
no, not just that. You've got Sonic Boom, which apparently is a short. That's his auteur film.
Yeah.
And then you've got Elves, and then Cyber CHIC Chick,
We'll see.
and then
Or Cyber Chic. Maybe it's Cyber Chic.
No, I think it's Chick. But he's also been the writer of such groundbreaking films and TV series.
We are
such
such
as
dicks.
Super Force.
If Force is in the title of your movie, it's trash.
Yeah.
We're such assholes.
Super
Like,
Force.
God forbid anyone bring their shitty vision to life.
Super Force, Firehead, which sounds like a venereal disease, and Shooters, as well as Elves and O'Hara.
Firehead.
Firehead. I gotta see the poster for this. Oh God.
Is it
Is
the
it a
Ron Howard
Firehead?
story?
A government agent assigns a scientist to help one of his agents track down a Russian defector who is a cyborg. Meanwhile, okay, yeah, it's a Jeff Mandel film right there. He just seems to be the go-to guy for 90s trash.
Yeah, and it's funny because this is pretty universally thrashed by mostly everybody, and I thought that this was a really funny quote because it just put me in mind so much of John. So on the Wikipedia page, you can find the Ryan Barber review of this movie from horrornews.net. And I would just like to get in here with this
Sure.
because I think it reminds me it's funny because it reminds me of John. So it might seem that because the film is so bad, it's funny, it might be worth a watch. It's not. The plot ambles along so slowly, so pointlessly, that Elves is only recommended for those hardcore viewers who completely love bad movies for whatever reason. Anyone else will see no point to this somnolent movie, especially because of the confusing ending.
Yeah.
And it just reminded me of John because like you are the hardcore. You there's no garbage you won't stuff in your eyeballs, my friend.
It's true.
Well, when you think of Christmas themed horror movie slasher movie slasher movies,
Slasher.
Slash.
You think of usually the Santa Claus as the killer trope. This falls into the other realm of Black Christmas and movies along those lines that don't involve Santa Claus. I mean, technically, Grizzly Adams is Santa Claus in the movie, but that's kind of irrelevant. But how can you not want to at least once watch a movie that you find out is about incest Nazi elves?
I mean, I don't know, just like that
Christmas.
sounds good, but the thing is, like, there has to be a threshold of execution. Sorry.
Yes.
Whew, words are hard. There's a threshold of execution here because like when the plot is ridiculous, that's one thing, but when the plot's ridiculous and it's also poorly done, it's hard to connect. I mean, like I talk about this all the time and I think we address this all the time when the acting isn't very good, when the effects are gross, when the cinematography is garbage, like it's really hard to connect with the absurdity and enjoy the absurdity of the film because that's a big difference. Like that's why The Room is what it is because you can solely focus on how terrible the script is because it's not so bad on the eyes. It's a little boring cinematography-wise, but someone shot it.
That's why Birdemic hurts.
It's true because
Birdemic
it's
hurts
so
to
ridiculously
watch.
bad, and when you add in bad acting on top of that, that makes it even harder. Now, the main actress in this, Julie Austin, she's okay. She's okay in this, and like I think that's the one thread that keeps it together. She's actually pretty believable. She's pretty likable.
Yeah.
Like that's rare, and I think that she's probably the best part of the film.
Well, what's odd is that this movie doesn't even really need to have it be around Christmas.
No, it doesn't.
Well, that's the litmus test,
Yeah, here's the thing. I thought, they pumped this movie out in 1989 on like December 5th or something like that to try to cash in on the holiday season.
Yep.
It came out in October. So they tried to grab the Halloween audience. So why would you... I thought like they had written a script and then they threw some Christmas stuff in it as like just as a way to ride the holiday wave, but it came out in October, so it's kind of irrelevant.
Well, they're trying to double
everything.
dip. They're trying to double dip. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to say, oh yes, you can watch this on Halloween because it's got demon
but
elves
it's gonna
in it.
last.
But you can also watch it on Christmas too. It's a double dip. That's exactly what it is.
It's the Nightmare Before Christmas rule.
Yes,
And
exactly.
well, and two,
Yes.
because like it had 3 writers, we don't really know what the script went through. I mean, what we ended up with is maybe not what it started with. You know what I mean?
But Lane, to your point, it's amazing to me how many people are like trying too hard in this film and going extremely over
it's
the top.
True.
And then
the mom,
there are the same
Anyone?
amount of people in the film who are just going through the motions like they are dead inside.
like the librarian dude.
Yeah, it's amazing how many people are just phoning it in and how many people are just fucking going for it.
I will
really bad.
say, to be fair, I would say that this movie is very much a awesomely bad movie compared to other ones like we've seen sequels to like the Birdemic 2, not nearly as good. Right?
It's not as funny.
And the reason I think is because we've kind of said this before whenever we've talked about Troll 2 or The Room, is that you can tell that the filmmakers, even though they were flawed in execution, at least were trying to make an okay movie. You can tell they believed in what they were doing, even if it was shit.
yeah.
Like that's the kind of thing I see with this. Is now watching this, as I said, is a test of futility, in my opinion, because it's a painful viewing.
Well,
if you're not drunk,
It's a mean movie. That's the thing. Like everybody in this movie is detestable. No.
even Kirsten is not a great person.
No,
You know?
yeah, and I mean, like the Santa Claus at the mall is like trying to like hit on chicks and is drunk and apparently had like sexual offenses. I think the movie had said like everybody in the movie is in some way an awful human being, and
Except for Grizzly Adams.
yeah, except Grizzly Adams, and it's hard to
Well,
watch. That.
he's a drinker.
Yeah,
Yeah, but like
he's a disgraced cop.
But like, there's levels here. Like, her mom drowns her fucking cat in a toilet. Like, we have some shit to unpack. Y'all.
We haven't even dived into the plot, so I guess we should start from the beginning.
Let's get started. So we start in the woods with the girls.
You can't. And by the way,
as you do. First
thing here, dear filmmaker, meet me over at microphone 1 here. Okay, you can't. If you're gonna do a night shot, could you please light the woods?
Maybe.
I watched this thing on a YouTube stream, okay? Honestly, I watched it on YouTube because I'm not going to spend money on this.
Dude, well, you know that
as we've always said, you know you're a B movie if you're up on YouTube and no one cares.
And no one cares.
Exactly.
Yeah. There were multiple ones that had the full thing of Elves.
You have a buffet to choose
the
from, dear listener.
The point is, I'm watching this. I can't see shit in the woods. It's so dark.
I don't even think it's much better on the DVD version.
It's not. I don't think so, because we watched the DVD version at your place, the party.
Yeah.
And I couldn't see anything. So, filmmaker, again, please just light your goddamn scenes.
We're looking at you, Kenny Carmack, the cinematographer.
Oh, God, was he the cinematographer?
Yeah, Kenny Carmack, you suck. Okay? So, that's my first thing.
Hey, at least they didn't do Day for Night.
That's true. You know what? I'd accept that more.
Yeah, Day for Night is just a technique you can use in editing where you you essentially color. The best way to describe it is the scene blue and crush the blacks to a ridiculous level. It's so clearly daytime when people do it, but they think they're getting away with it.
Hey, the full moon people do it all the time.
Yeah. Well, because, and this is often done, like, you can see this in, Ed Wood did Orgy of the Dead, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you can see it in that a lot, and it's really confusing when it's black and white.
Well,
because,
Ed Wood didn't even try to... He did the day part and just kept it as day.
Exactly, like, because it's...
even try to get it.
It's not in black and white, but that's right. He just goes for it, and that's what it's supposed to be doing, but like it's not a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, what it is just just to simulate night, because shooting at night's really difficult. Because
there are ways to do day for night
generator.
effectively. No, but there are ways to do day for night effectively. Just don't show the sky.
Well, too. I mean, you have to be really careful too, because shooting at night can be really expensive because you need a ton of lights. It can be really complicated because it's much colder than during the day. You have to contend with actors, and you could use a generator, but you better hope that you don't need audio that day because you're going to hear a generator. It's complicated. I mean, I get
just
why
do your audio in
do
post production then.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're doing day for night
step.
because you don't have any money, you don't have money to do post-production.
Do we have any idea what the budget for this thing was?
Oh, let's find out.
$0, 0 cents?
And a bag of Doritos.
I'm going to guess it was $50,000.
Oh, you're going to bet? Okay. $50,000.
I wonder if we're ever going to...
They're taking a look here, guys.
We're Googling
here.
here.
And the thing is, we just started to break this down, but I imagine people who have not seen this movie, they say to themselves, wait, so it has Nazi elves, incest, and drowning a cat in a toilet? How can this not be the greatest movie of all time?
I mean, this is also very... I would say this is one of the more obscure films that you
can
find. It is,
because I didn't know anything about this particular movie.
Oh, and there's 2 sets of tits and a bush.
Yeah.
So if you're into that...
I mean, I feel like we need to be a little bit more, or rather less of an asshole about that. Let's not reduce women to their body parts. The way you put that, that was very uncomfortable to me.
I think in the credits, her Whisker Biscuit gets a credit.
Can you
as herself?
Can you fucking not? Oh my god! Oh my god!
Interesting point. This certificate on here is PG-13.
What?
Yeah.
Yes,
right?
on IMDb, it's PG-13.
That cannot be accurate.
Cannot be accurate at all because of fake
There's
titties.
Full frontal nudity. Yeah.
But the point, as I said, I can't find any numbers
I can't find
on
it either.
But my guess is $5 in a
bag of chips.
Well, whatever the money was, all the money was definitely spent on the main jacked elf.
Yes,
which is ridiculous because it looks horrible.
Yeah, but again, we were in the woods.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're introduced to our 3 heroines, or maybe 1 heroine
and her 2 idiot friends.
2
one
hanger-oners.
heroine and her idiot friends. I gotta mention something about this here, because this is the one thing that really the only thing that really got my brain going at all, because this movie is drivel. So, one of the tropes of the 80s movies is oh, Brenda, it's you don't even want to do it, and there's a lot of talk about purity and obviously in this one there's no difference because she's Kristen's character is a virgin. So, they're morality tales, right? We saw that a lot in Halloween, all the characters that were having sex are the ones that got killed.
Yes.
And the same is true of Friday the 13th, right?
Yep.
So in this one, it's like not pressure from an outside force, like a guy forcing her into like some kind of sexual thing, but like her friends are all having sex and are very like, I mean, you can be as crass about it as you want with your friends. Like, I'm not judging that, but like there's one very upsetting conversation like towards the end of the movie that she has with her friends where, you know, her friends basically ask her like, how do you get out of doing it with, you know, with a man when you're with them? And she's like, you just say no. And it's a weird thing because she says, you just say no. It scares them to death and they don't know what to do. And her friend says, I don't know. I think I'd rather just like go through with it or get it over with, or however she exactly phrases it. I think go through with it rather than have a confrontation.
Yeah, you can tell a man wrote that.
No, there is so much wrong with everything that was just said because, like, you know, I try to look for something good in these films. And, like, the fact that, you know, that Kirsten says, like, you know, you just say no, that's, like, a good thing. But, like, we never are, like, taught by the morality of the film that her friend's impression is wrong and, like, consent's really important and you shouldn't just be, like, laying there and like not communicating with a partner like about your sexual like stuff. Like, oh my god!
To be
like,
fair, this was the '80s, and it was
89.
It was still '80s.
We needed our shit together.
It was still '80s, but my point is exactly right. You know what you're saying. There was no thought of
just like, but that was what really struck me about her drippy friends because it was interesting. They were kind of like horny all the time and they talked about sex all the time. That was like the summation of their characters.
Yeah, I mean, this is cheap grindhouse exploitation schlock for males.
Right.
You know, there is nothing redeeming in these kind of movies.
But, I mean, those kinds of lines, that kind of dialogue, that kind of stuff that reinforces like incorrect ideals. And so I have to call it out.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I have to like mention it.
I know, Colin. I think you also
Otherwise,
have to,
what else would I bring to this game, guys?
I mean, I think it's also worth noting that this is a type of film that you know includes these sorts of elements.
Of course,
you know, titties, bush, as you said a couple times.
Can we say it nicer? Like, is there a nicer
biscuit?
He said it nicer.
He did. He said it fancy.
Some Bologna fur.
He said it fancy, like a duke.
What, really? Bologna fur?
Wow. I like that
the Italiano.
He pronounced the G. He pronounced the G.
Anyway, I want to start getting to this plot, okay? So Kirsten, it's not Kristen, it's Kirsten.
That's drives me nuts.
No, it's very important. People are allowed to have names.
Name her Kristen.
Okay.
Okay, John with no H.
Either way, John with no H.
I have an H in my name.
Yeah, it sucks when people get your name wrong, doesn't it?
I would like to tell the plot, please.
Sorry, Brian.
Okay. Kirsten's with her idiot friends, and they're doing this thing. They're part of a group, because I guess this is what they did back in the 80s. Like, I know in the 80s, there was the whole big scare over Satanism, and I'm assuming that this was a reflection of that. So they're in the woods, and they're doing a ceremony, because their group is called the, what was it, the
Sisterhood of
Anti-Christmas.
And do we ever get a reason why? No. Yeah.
And there's no reason.
I feel like as an actual pagan, I should be offended by this movie, but there's so much more to be offended about that I'm going to sit it out.
I actually thought when I was rewatching this that you would be really offended by that.
Nobody gets paganism right. I mean, even in like the most recent Tales of Sabrina, like, I mean, real witches were pissed off because it was misrepresented. I think, you know, paganism, Wicca, it's always going to be misrepresented.
Yeah.
If it's something that offends somebody, I would never take that away from them. And if that's their feelings, like, that's valid. But for me, I feel like no one's ever going to understand it in a way. And like, I'm just sitting this one out.
Gotcha.
Just going to sit this one out.
And they had the ability to do this because Kirsten's grandfather has many uncomfortable amount of books on the occult.
Exactly.
A lot of them. Mm-hmm.
And apparently they worship a naked drawing that Kirsten drew.
Yeah, after like a dream, she was like,
she had a dream.
This just came into my head.
It's came into my head, and it's just like a drawing of a naked woman with big giant titties.
Which is drawn clearly from a man. No woman would draw another woman that way.
No. It looks like something out of 1990s Marvel.
Well, it's actually science that men will draw women with bigger boobs and bigger butts. Like, that's science.
Yeah, but
it's like your caveman brains or something.
You know, somehow she ends up cutting her hand on a candle. Like, I'm not even joking.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
the scene
Oh, yeah.
that she's like, oh, the candle. We don't even know what the fuck happened to the candle.
Hard
first-
wax?
The
Hard
first time
wax
I
or
saw it, I
something.
was like, how did flames cut her?
And that's what I looked. I'm like, nothing broke. You don't see anything. There's no crash. You don't hear anything. It's like they stumble over it, and oh my god, a hand cut.
Well,
and
of course you couldn't see
apparently-
anything. You couldn't see
Well,
anything
that's what I'm
anyways.
saying.
True.
But apparently the blood hit the ground, and that arose the
Such a clatter.
the elves. Or we're still under the auspices that there's multiple elves. In reality, there's only one.
Yeah. The movie is called Elves with an S.
Yeah.
And the tagline is they are not working for Santa anymore. There's only one elf in this whole fucking movie.
Yeah.
And he's jacked as shit.
Yes. So after this, Kirsten runs home and is immediately bitch slapped by her grandfather.
Oh yeah.
Like within 5 seconds.
She puts the book back, and then he comes in his wheelchair. You know, he is like Nazi Professor X, and just starts smacking the shit out of her. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, what kind of movie did I get into?
Yeah, seriously.
Like, you start to wonder, are you watching the right movie? Because there was like an occult thing in the woods, and all these movies are always shot in California.
Yes.
Obviously. So it doesn't look like Christmas at all.
No.
So
It could be any
doesn't
time of
look
year.
like Christmas at all. But yeah, so it looks like, you know, the fall here, and then she puts a book back on the shelf and gets beat up by an old German guy in a wheelchair. It's like, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
Is this a
family.
Christmas movie?
Well, you find out after that incident, because this day seems to be raining shit on Kirsten. Because after that, she goes to the kitchen and is confronted by, I would say, bitch face mother. Like really?
Oh,
Like,
she's
is
the
worst fucking mother figure I've ever seen.
She's like straight to hell.
She makes the bitch face orphan woman from the Christmas tree look like a saint.
It's true.
Yeah, it's she's listed on IMDb as Kristen's mother. Was it Deanna Lund?
Yes,
is the actress. Her performance comes off as somebody who's extremely wealthy, but they don't really have much money at all. I mean,
Right.
They look like they're doing all right, but she comes off like, you know, how dare you insult this family's legacy? Yeah, that's like her performance, but it's not founded.
Fun fact: she is actually she was an actress on Land of Giants from I think the 60s.
Yes.
So she's got
yeah.
a little bit of a pedigree, and she also dated Larry King before she died.
Also, fun fact: she died 6 months ago.
Yeah,
No way!
Yeah.
Really?
Cancer.
That recently?
Cancer.
Shit, I didn't know that.
Cancer.
Crazy.
It's a bitch. So anyway, the bitch face mother, rest her soul.
Who's in her late 50s here, Roll Tide. She looks good.
Yeah. So anyway, you gonna have a fun time?
Listen,
You start pulling it out over there, John.
listen, take it easy.
But anyway, she, gets in Kirsten's face, says she's gonna close her savings account, because she's saving up all this money for
Yeah.
college, for art school. Is just a horrible person. Then we cut to a scene which a lot of people say this is like the best scene in the whole fucking movie, and it's where Kirsten's in the shower, and her little brother in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles PJs, which
I'm sure-
I had the same fucking PJs.
I bet they appreciated this plug.
Oh, let's be honest here.
How do they not
one
get
gave
sued?
No one gave a shit about copyright in this movie. Did
Yeah.
you see how many infringements were in this movie?
They
It's
just
ridiculous.
used shit. They didn't give a single
Camels.
fuck.
Well,
there was a box of camels in the movie.
Well, guys, I guarantee that's that little boy's actual pajamas, and they asked the parents to bring him on set so they didn't have to buy a costume.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Of course.
And those are the only ones he had with the turtles on him. Like, well, let's just hope we don't get sued. If they even thought
Yeah.
that far ahead.
Yeah.
Seriously.
But anyway.
So anyway, the little brother basically is spying on Kirsten while she's in the shower, and she catches him and confronts him, and he's like, "Oh well, you got big titties." Oh, you actually have the right line, don't you, John?
No. I love big tits, and I like looking at big tits, and I can't wait to tell everybody that I saw yours. She says, but I'm your sister. And he's like, I don't care. I love tits.
That's a very valid point, but I'm your sister should have been the end of that discussion.
Yeah, I'm your sister should have ended it right there.
Agreed.
Like there should have been a moment of reflection right there.
Agreed.
Like
Agreed.
this is wrong.
Sir?
This is some Oedipus shit right
Ma'am, here's what we're going to have your son say.
Can you imagine, like, what kind of stage mom was that where she was like, you know what, I'm still in. This is going to make my son a big star.
He's getting a SAG card.
I mean,
I mean, there are some stage moms out there that absolutely would have no problem.
But what's so twisted
that.
about it is it leads to her just kind of like tickling him, like, "Oh, you scamp!
You scamp! I know
mean,
you're
like-
gonna go back into your room and jack it to my
And
titties."
this is
To
weird
your
because
sister." Yeah.
because it's weird to me that like this was almost played off to be charming,
It's not charming.
and like that just doesn't work for me. Like,
It's
why
creepy.
would you try to make it charming when that's just the opposite of what that is? Like,
Yeah.
it's creepy, it's upsetting, and it's weird because it's something that I would almost expect like some like alien to have come up with because they wouldn't understand that like incest in our society is wrong.
Apparently,
you
Jeffrey
know?
Mandel has some issues.
Well, I mean, the movie does revolve around incest, which we'll get to, and I think that they were just trying to be like
To
"Ooh,
foreshadow
let's foreshadow
it,
the
maybe?
incest.
That's not-
It runs in the family.
Plus,
Not how
let's
you
be
do
honest here.
that.
Let's be honest here. It was a reason to show titties in the shower.
Yeah.
That's it too.
I guess. I mean,
Okay.
I feel like they could have done it.
They could have done it in a more tasteful
Differently.
manner, if you're thinking about that. But anyway, it cuts to nighttime, and this is where we get the first shot of the elf
Yeah, the elf.
that creeps up on the little kid
Yeah.
and scares the shit out of him. Mom comes in, Kirsten comes in, they try to console him, which I'm like, Kirsten, this little shit just like spied on you.
Well,
an hour
remember, they
ago?
had the moment. They had that nice little, meet cute moment.
teasing
no meat
I'm gonna
cute,
go.
no meat cute of
she,
that.
She is tickling him, and they're giggling and having a good
But
old time, even
you,
though.
you know that's not a meat cute though, right?
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
that's gross.
Love you.
But anyway, the bitch face mother blames the cat, and this is important because
yeah.
in a scene or two later,
She just wants to get rid of that guy.
she wants to get rid of the fucking
The
cat.
cat is fucking murdered, and
Yeah.
it's honestly the scariest and most upsetting part of the whole movie. Like I always skip it.
Well, you remember I was
I
sitting
laughed
with
my
you.
ass off.
Okay, I mean you were laughing your ass off,
Yeah.
but I was when we were watching it, I was like, I hope that bitch dies.
Well,
And she
You
does.
need, you need
but,
a stiff
but
beverage
you
for this
really
one, guys.
the reason
Or
that
strong
to me
coffee.
that it's funny is because I'm thinking about the production and how they clearly did not have the money to make like a puppet cat in any way, shape, or
No.
form. So the mom does what nobody would do unless you needed to hide the fact there is no cat. Puts a cat in like a pillowcase.
Yeah.
Or like a
And then-
sack. It's
yeah.
like a weird sack
And
thing,
then drowns
burlap or
like that
something.
sack in the toilet, and they just put in like a couple, sounds or whatever over
It's
the thing.
actually pretty
Like,
upsetting considering there's like nothing seen in it. It's
Yeah.
pretty upsetting.
See, honestly, if you're gonna do that sort of thing, I'm not. First of all, I am a giant animal lover. Okay.
Yeah, agreed.
I
have a dog sleeping next to me right now.
You have a dog sleeping right now. If you're gonna do that sort of scene, instead of I'm gonna take this cat and put it in the toilet, very uncomfortable. Why not like just take the cat, cut to a shot of something else in the pillowcase, and just like hit against the wall? Like that's more violent. That's more.
Yeah, it's
in
more
I
your
think it might be
face.
too violent. Like if she started hitting that pillowcase with a hammer, I think people would.
Well, I'm not
be
saying.
turned
I'm
off,
not. I'm just
But
saying
just
like against
knocking
the
on the
wall.
wall,
I'm just
yeah.
saying like that. They took too many steps
But
to get
the
to that
drowning
point.
is like so drawn out. That's also terrible. But
Yeah.
I think it's more of how a woman would kill something.
No, I guess so.
Or
I guess so.
she could just come up to the cat and like grab it by the back of its like fur on its neck, and then the cat could hiss, and then you just cut to the next scene where they're like, "Hey, have you seen the cat?"
No, it's dead.
But then she like kind of gives a smirk, like, "Do we need to have her drown the cat in a toilet for 8
I don't
minutes?"
know. I feel like it was nice to know that she was the devil because it makes the movie satisfying later on.
We did need to establish that this woman is the devil. So
like
was fine.
irredeemable.
Yes.
Right.
They tell you in screenwriting, show don't tell. So
I mean,
you
they
gotta
did.
show that
They
cat
did.
drowning.
They
I
did.
guess.
So
At least she flushed before she killed it.
seriously. Anyway, we then cut to the mall where Kirsten works.
Yep. The
right?
snack shop
the
counter
snack shop
thing.
counter
I don't
diner
know.
thing,
Food
place.
Yes.
And it's a reminder of the ridiculous costumes that 80s workers had to wear.
Dude, I was here for it.
It's also a matter that the mall was the greatest place on earth. In
It
the
was
80s.
at one time.
Like, yeah, the mall is.
That's
where
Mecca.
you go.
That's where you went.
R.I.P. the mall.
But her dumbass friends are there, and we also get introduced to not only terrible Santa Claus, but our hero, I guess, if you will.
Oh, you mean
Mike.
terrible, you mean
Well, that's not Grizzly Adams. That's
that? You said terrible Santa Claus.
He's a
Well, that's
terrible
the terrible
Santa.
Santa Claus.
That's
Yeah.
the
but I'm
immoral
just saying, in
Santa.
this scene, we also get introduced to Mike, who is Grizzly Adams, Dan Haggerty.
I was going to say, that's not TV's Grizzly Adams.
TV's
Dan
Grizzly
Haggerty's
Adams.
his
Dan
real
Haggerty.
name. Yeah.
Who you wind up wondering, like, a whole time watching this movie, I'm like, did Dan Haggerty really have, like, a bad gambling debt or need to pay the rent or keep the gas
Couldn't have
on?
gotten
Or
that much money for this, though.
I mean, he was iconic for Grizzly Adams, but that doesn't mean that it paid him a shit ton, you know?
fair.
And maybe he doesn't get residual checks when it re-airs, you know what I mean?
he probably
Well,
did.
it probably doesn't re-air. Like, who the fuck would play this on their station?
A lot of people know Grizzly Adams. TV Land.
Well,
Yes.
mean, now, he was a star of that show, but I read somewhere that the Scott Farkas from Christmas Story said that he makes only like $500 to $800 every Christmas for TBS running that for 24 straight hours.
What? That's crazy
Yeah.
that it's so low.
Yeah. Now, Grant, maybe he was a child when he did the movie, and it was in his contract, and he was not the
Yeah,
star.
It might have been younger.
Maybe
a
as
little
as the star
I
of
mean,
Grizzly Adams.
I
maybe
guess
he
so.
gets-
I mean,
was it in
yeah.
heavy syndication by 89?
Probably.
Would it have been? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I
mean-
would imagine.
maybe he just thought it was funny. Dude, let's, like, is he still alive? Can we ask him?
He's dead.
He's
Oh,
dead.
damn.
He's,
Okay.
he's,
I
been
just
dead for-
realized he probably would have been
He's
really
like
old.
bones by now, I think.
I
Yeah, he's been dead
realized
for
he
a
probably
while.
would have been old. Sorry.
he's pretty dead.
But guys, work
Sorry,
is
guys.
work.
Yeah, you don't
he
know it's
probably
gonna be
wasn't
shit
getting any roles, and his
necessarily.
manager said, "Hey, I got a script for a movie called Elves." He's like, "Okay, how much they want to pay me? They want to pay you $150,000. Okay, I'll be there."
Yeah, you probably don't know it's going to be like roasted shit, you know.
You could read the script. So anyway, Mike is a down on his luck ex-cop, ex-security guard who has a serious drinking and smoking problem.
He's a drunk.
No, but the man literally is smoking in every scene.
Oh yeah. Well, it's 1989. Like my dad was literally smoking everywhere all
That's
the time.
my dad was too.
Yeah. Because you used to have the smoking section in the restaurant.
Yep.
You could smoke
Which
basically
really-
anywhere except hospitals.
Well, the thing is now that you think about it, the smoking section really isn't a smoking section because smoke is a gas, so it will like travel.
Right, it's not going to stay on that side
Like
of
that's
the
why
wall.
I
y'all.
never. You always understand like, oh well, there's smoking and non-smoking. It's like, but you do know that smoke travels,
Smoking
right?
and less smoking.
Yeah. there's immediate death and then there's prolonged death.
It's just funny too that that's changing in our lifetimes, because like as a kid, like it was always non-smoking section in my family because my mom couldn't stand it.
Yeah. But anyway, so Mike comes to the mall and he confronts the head of this department store, who's a real asshole.
Oh yeah, he's
know,
gross
He's that
too.
snobbish guy, like how they all look like Niles Crane, where
Yeah.
I want to run a clean ship here. None of your nonsense and tomfoolery, young people.
Well, this guy especially apparently went to the eyeball school of acting because quite literally this man just like
Where is the eyeball school of acting located, Brian? And how do you enroll? I want to know.
it's right across the street from the Ron Jeremy School of Porn Acting. But the point is, this guy literally is all eyeballs. Like every scene he's in is, well, how dare you murder in my shop? Whoa. Like it's all eyeballs. So yeah, I guess Mike is down on his luck. He's like, I got fired from that security guard job that you offered me, and I'm better now, and he just wants work, and Niles Crane basically says, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
Inconceivable.
Inconceivable.
You rat-faced monster.
Yeah. So while this is all going on, I think we also get our first introduction to like the neo-Nazis who come to see Grandpa.
Yeah, it randomly cuts back to Grandpa, who at this point we don't even really know is important to the movie. We just thought, oh, he just wheeled in and beat the crap out of Kirsten.
Yep.
And we, nothing in this movie seems to stick or stay around all along. So I thought maybe that's the last we're going to see of him. No, here are some Nazis talking to him.
Oh yeah, no, like
Yeah.
full on Nazis.
And he's just like, oh, he's integral to this plot. And he's a Nazi. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, we basically find out that this neo-Nazi group work with Grandpa, and apparently they did some experiments back in the day, with old Adolf, and we're trying to create a master race of elf creatures.
Do you mean that Adolf Hitler?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, that's
I thought maybe you meant a different Adolf.
Of Holocaust fame.
of Holocaust fame. I'm a Jew. I can say that. But the point is that we're introducing to all of our characters here, and then we get to one probably the second best line, and that's the naughty Santa Claus.
Yeah. Oh, yes. So to give a little explanation of my
context,
my line earlier, yeah. Kirsten sits on Santa's lap, and of course he's a skeeve because everybody in this world is a skeeve or con artist or disgusting or violent. He grabs her leg and whispers.
Oh, well,
in her,
he's like fondling her.
Oh yeah. Which she's just kind of okay with, not immediately like, holy shit, what are you fucking touching me for? I'm going to get out of here. And he whispers in her ear, oral, and she goes, huh? And he says, Santa said oral. Which she then, smacks him, and there's like a whole thing.
I'm glad she hits him because, again,
Yeah.
that's important for us to like tell the audience that creepy Santa is not okay.
But he loses his job.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which will lead
Also
eventually
good.
to Dan Haggerty like getting to the position as Mall Santa.
Yeah. But it's important because creepy Santa is our first victim. Which of
why-
the elf.
Good.
Why did the elf make it to the mall? Because he just knew he needed to be there.
He was following the Kirsten around.
He read the script?
He has like ET feet. Like there's no way he followed her there. Like unless it's like Cape Fear style and he's just under the car.
I asked that question too. It's like, well, this is in the middle of the day. How did he get to the mall with no one seeing him?
It's true.
And I mean, this elf is ugly as sin.
It's
and-
where most of the budget probably went, but like
Oh, absolutely.
it did miss the mark a little bit. And it's interesting because I think that the guy who did the special effects worked in the biz for quite a while, and I just don't.
Even after this?
Yeah, I think so because I don't.
He isn't putting this on his reel.
'Cause this was. I think this is.
No way.
I think this is Vincent Gustini. Gustini. I'm not sure how to say
Yeah.
it, but he also did the effects on 86's Spookies. I don't know what that is.
That's a terrible movie.
Is it 87?
That's a terrible movie.
87's Mind
Oh,
Killer.
Spookies.
Of course he did five
Guys,
spookies.
we're doing spookies
Oh,
on the
guys,
show.
Oh.
he did Child's Play 3.
The best one.
That's the worst one.
And then Silent Night of 2012.
The remake.
So that's is that the remake of Silent Night, Deadly Night, or Silent? Wait, what?
Yeah.
Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. It like rolled off my tongue so easily. I like stopped myself. I was like a little afraid.
Oh, yeah.
Bad.
So he seems to always do either the rejects or the absolute worst in a series.
It's interesting to me because he's gotten like that niche thing for himself though. Like it's weird. He's in like a niche place where like he's not famous, but like he's done
to be
some
fair,
entertaining
I will
shit.
say the effects in Spookies are actually pretty decent. To be
True.
fair,
I'm just tickled pink
it's
by
a
the title
terrible
Spookies.
Have you guys ever seen? Spookies?
I've never seen Spookies.
Oh my god! You think this movie's bad? Spookies is literally they shot it. And this is diverting from the elf talk, but I mean this Spookies is much more interesting than Elves. But the point is like Spookies they shot it as one movie and then shot another movie and then basically mashed them together.
Nice.
So there's two separate movies going on, but the edited both of this footage together to form a single movie.
Oh, much like 1996's Santa Claus.
Yes, very much like that.
Where it was just a shoot for a titty magazine that they put the plot around.
Yes.
They killed two birds with one
Oh
stone.
yeah, no,
So-
that was unacceptable.
So getting back, as much as I love to talk about
Mad at you.
Santa Claus from Night of the Living Dead scribe John Russo.
Yeah.
But the point is that Dirty Santa Claus gets fired. He goes back to his dressing room to basically snort a couple lines of coke because that's a thing apparently to do in the 80s.
Oh, in the 80s, yeah.
I mean, no, but like that blatantly, just right out there, like I'm gonna start snorting coke in the mall. The point is he's doing lines of blow, and the elf shows up and cuts his dick off.
Doesn't he eat it with his teeth?
Ew.
Was the elf eating it with his teeth?
He's
didn't
either
think
stabbing
so.
the groin.
I think he's stabbing the groin.
So at this point, we're not even that far in the movie. Let's just recap what we've had so far. We've had summoning the devil, domestic violence,
Well, accidentally summoning the devil.
Yeah.
To be fair,
Yes,
domestic violence, drowning a cat,
incest.
incest, and crotch mutilation.
Yes,
and sexual harassment.
yeah.
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 I think that's
and that's
everything.
about
Merry Christmas.
And this
We
is-
did say Nazis, right?
yeah,
Nazis?
not yet.
Okay,
We're not
Nazis.
there yet.
Well, no, I mean, those are the people that visit Grandpa.
right,
So-
but we don't know they're Nazis
Right.
yet.
Fair. So I think we need to maybe like speed it up a little
Okay,
bit.
okay,
Get to some
okay.
of the meat and potatoes.
So we'll get some of the
here,
meat and
'cause
potatoes
There's
here.
a lot that we could go over, and I don't want this to be too long.
No,
I want
that's
everyone
cool.
to enjoy
That's
themselves.
cool. That's cool. So basically, Mike gets the job as the new Santa Claus, and because he's dirt poor, he ends up trying to stay in the mall,
Which he's not allowed to do.
Which he's not allowed to do.
He just kind of
Okay?
like hides in the broom closet.
Yeah.
He plays by his own rules.
And he stays in the mall the same night as Kirsten and her dumbass friends are going to meet a bunch of boys.
And this is where, Lane, your beloved line.
Yeah.
Yep, the
exactly.
scene comes in place
Exactly.
where she's like, I would rather have something inside of me than have a conversation with someone who's supposed to respect and love
Really
me.
fucking weird.
It's really upsetting.
Really fucking weird.
Bothers me a lot.
And this leads to them encountering the elf as well as the group of Nazis who are after Kirsten. Okay?
It turns
And
into like a Keystone Cop kind of thing. Like I thought Benny Hill music was gonna play.
Yeah.
Because there's Nazis, there's regular people, Kirsten and her friends, there's the elf, there's Dan Haggerty, all running around, shooting at each other.
It's kind of like that time a bird got in our house when we were living like in Edinburgh, and the cat chased the bird, and John chased the cat, and the dog chased everybody because he didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, so basically this massive shootout happens. I don't think anyone actually gets killed except for one of the dumbass friends.
Yeah. Well, no,
Oh no,
yeah,
both
'cause-
friends die, don't they?
Did both friends die?
I thought they did. Yeah.
The elf like
Oh,
shanks a
that's
bitch.
right.
Yeah.
The elf shanked the one dumbass friend, and the Nazis killed the other dumbass friend.
And why did the Nazis think that these were going to be like the superior race that was going to? This thing is, unless you're already hurting on the ground, it can't fucking do anything to you.
It's
I mean,
not very tall.
It just kind of runs around.
I mean,
Well, no, that's a pure elf. They were thinking that an elf-human hybrid
Yes.
was like where it's at.
yes.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
the master
that's the
race.
whole thing.
And guys, does the elf kind of look like Jonathan Lipnicki to you guys?
Well, like him
Like
now.
him now, yeah, when he's
like
all jacked up and
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I always wondered with movies like Elves and Child's Play, I'm like, you can just like kick him.
Yeah.
It's true.
Just, I mean, one swift kick and
It would probably
Child-
get the job
kick
done.
him away. You know,
Child's
just
Play is
punt him.
technically a Christmas movie.
That's true. It is.
Technically, it is. So the shootout happens. Dan Haggerty again is like dealing with the police. Police are like, "Don't leave fucking town because we know you did this." So
Yeah, he's just kind of allowed because he used to be a cop
Yes.
to like go as he pleased when he
Uh-huh.
should be the number one suspect.
absolutely,
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, absolutely. So Mike takes which Kirsten's calling Mike Santa. Like she calls him Santa. the
Oh,
whole
yeah,
fucking time.
it's weird.
So I'm like, that's a little creepy. Maybe don't
And
do
it's like
that.
a weird daddy thing, kind
It
of
is.
like it's like a little sexual,
A little
but, like,
bit.
He's like way too old for her, so
But it
it's
never
yucky.
comes off that way. I mean, a
It
little
never,
from her
it never
saying
comes
it,
to
but yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
It never
'Cause
comes, but it's a little gross.
We will say that Dan Haggerty's character is actually like a noble person. In
He
this
is.
world of
He's a good
swine.
character.
Yeah.
He's
but
the only
but a little of
diamond
that-
in the rough.
a little of that made me want to shower, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. So anyway, he takes her home and finds out that Kirsten was not lying about her terrible family.
No,
because
no.
they want to throw him. They want to call the police and get him thrown out. They're like, "What the fuck? Like, I rescued your daughter for God's
Yeah,
sake."
man, I saved the thing.
There was a shootout at the
There was
mall.
a shootout in your mall, and your daughter
you're
didn't
welcome?
die. Thank you. How
Yeah,
about a thank
right?
you? Then it cuts to honestly like very confusing stuff because the whole plot here drags as you could tell. But basically, to
gets
sum it
convoluted.
all up, Dan Haggerty in a couple scenes basically does the I'm going to research a symbol scenes.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's multiple scenes. It's about 3 or 4 scenes.
Yeah, he
of
goes to the
him-
library,
goes
checks
to
out
the
some
library.
books, talks to a professor, like two different
Well,
professors.
he talks to a librarian,
There's a library.
who's
It's like-
apparently is Mr. Exposition, and then he talks to a professor who's Mr. Exposition Jr., and then almost gets blown up by one of the Nazis.
Well, and the big thing in this movie too is he needed like a job, like to support himself. And at the mall, the guy, the Niles Crane guy's like, "You're fired," and he's like, "Yeah, well, shove it up your ass. I'm gonna go find out about elves." Like
He was
no.
also similarly ungrateful that like there was like saving of life because of
Yes.
him.
yeah,
He fired Kirsten and he fired Santa.
Yeah,
and everybody else
he
is
was
in
a
body
butthole.
bags.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So Dan Haggerty basically finds out this connection between the Nazis and the elves, and about how the Nazis wanted to use the elves in a breeding program with a pureblood. Okay, pureblood.
This is where shit gets fucked
This
up.
is
you
where,
guys.
yeah, this is where the turn comes.
What do you guys think pure blood means exactly?
Oh,
Not this.
I can't.
Virgin, white.
I don't
What
know,
are they
man. There's
saying?
a lot.
There is no
There's
such
a lot
thing.
of really frightening stuff that you can unpack here that I
The
don't
blonde-haired,
like.
blue-eyed thing.
Full wizard. Oh, I'm sorry. Is that no? We're not talking about Harry Potter. Oh,
No,
cool.
no.
Mudblood.
Mudblood. So yeah, you find out this whole basically backstory about the Nazi, and you find out that the grandfather apparently was one of these Nazis.
No, we found out
He's
something.
a good Nazi now.
We found out something way more upsetting about
Haven't gotten to
Grandpa.
that. Haven't gotten to that.
Well,
Okay,
we need to get to it.
Lane,
Build up to it, Elaine.
Lane.
Fine.
Kirsten has a conversation with her mom in the bathroom, and of course, the subject of daddy comes up, and we're just like, "Oh, I was wondering, where is the dad? Huh? Where's the dad at?" And I'm sitting in your living room when we're watching this, going,
Oh, this is so
I
good.
wonder where the fucking dad is. They never mention the dad.
Thankfully, a beer is
Maybe
in the
it's Dan Haggerty.
Yeah,
You know, maybe
that's
that
what
would
I'm
be
thinking. I'm thinking,
nice or
maybe-
fun. Yeah.
Maybe it's secretly Mike. You know,
Who
which would make it
knows?
really confusing because there was that kind of weird kind of dynamic between them. So no, that's not what we get at all. What we get instead is psycho bitch mom admitting that she was fucked by her father, and that the grandfather is the dad of Kirsten, who was in the Nazi program to make a pure blood.
Yeah, apparently, like inbreeding's really important. To keep
Whoa!
the bloodline's pure or something. Like,
Whoa!
I thought that was like 1 + 1 = chair. I did not understand their
Well,
math on that.
I wondered where the little brother came from then.
Maybe he was just the product of like her going to a bar and hooking up with some guy,
But-
and not Grandpa.
Maybe.
I don't know, because like I was wondering, I'm like, okay, well that explains where Kirsten came from, but where'd the little brother with the
Well, because like wouldn't like
incest
sta-
tendencies
well-
come from?
Well, wouldn't Grandpa / Dad like have like problems with equipment as young as the brother is? You know what I mean? Like,
Well, see, I thought that's how she was going to reveal it. Be like, well, let me just put it this way: your father might be in a wheelchair, but that doesn't mean nothing's working down there.
Oh,
woof.
you
That-
just said that.
You did say
You just
that.
fucking said that, didn't
crazy.
you?
Basically, he told me the Nazis will rise again.
Oh no, no,
Yuck.
no,
Yuck.
no, that's gross. That's fucking gross. I'm calling it. That's gross. That's the grossest thing you ever said.
Not a fan. Of that. Not a fan of what just happened. Not
The grossest thing you
liking
ever
it.
said in about past 5 minutes.
Just in the last 5 minutes, though.
But yeah, so grandfather is daddy.
There is incest.
there is
and
incest.
It's like Nazi fueled incest.
Yes.
It's really yucky. I mean, there's some stuff about this film that makes me extremely uncomfortable.
Yeah. Again, terrible movie. So after that
Really
happened, basically, Dan Haggerty's car gets blown up by the Nazis. He beats the shit out of one of them and just keeps asking questions. And I'm kept watching. I'm like, you have to wait for him to answer your question.
Oh yeah.
You could not skip over the car blowing up scene because in his infinite wisdom, he sees dynamite in his car. Instead of throwing that out the window,
Which was open.
yeah, he just tuck and rolls and hurts himself unless his car blow up.
And didn't you think
tuck and roll, little buddy.
didn't you think that dynamite was like the Looney Tunes dynamite?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like
Acme.
it came from Acme.
Yeah.
It
Absolutely.
reminded me of the dynamite we got in Batman Returns, another Christmas movie.
Oh my god.
Very much so, very much so. So anyway, he ends up back at Kirsten's, and that's when he finds out about the whole Nazi incest breeding thing. And this is also when the group of Nazis that, try to blow him up come back. There's a big fucking fight.
Yeah.
Grandpa gets shot. One of the Nazis gets shot. Kirsten runs away with the little brother. You also, by the way, we forgot this part. There apparently is a way to kill the elves with a stone knife.
It's
Oh,
the
yeah,
only way
yeah.
to do it. They're
The elf
they're not
stone,
killable
right?
any other
The
way.
elf
We're
stone?
the elf stone. We're never really told about that. It's
Well, too,
kind
we're
of
never
assumed.
really told, like, because she accidentally, like, cuts herself and
Yeah.
starts all this in motion, but, like, it seemed like this was already starting to come to fruition.
Yeah.
So, like, she accidentally killed her, or cut herself to, like, awaken the elf, but, like, the Nazis were already trying to get this
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
So, were they going to wake up the elf? And,
I don't
like, I don't know. It's weird. We didn't talk about mom yet. We got to talk about mom.
There's a lot to unpack with this movie.
I know.
So so backtrack a little bit. Okay, mom, after having revealed all this, is kind of gone off the fucking deep end.
Oh yeah, she's lost her
Okay,
mind.
She needs to have herself a bath.
She wanted to have herself a bath, and she wanted to put on some lipstick for it. So she decides to do that whole, like, smash the lipstick all over the mouth, because she's pretty. You know, I'm so pretty.
And like it just like the generic like crazy kind of like illustration.
I call it the Linnea Quigley Night of the Demons makeup job. You know, so if you haven't ever seen that movie, you know, she puts on the lipstick like that and keeps saying, "Do you think I'm pretty?" Like it's that type of deal.
Right.
Why do people always take baths at the worst time in horror movies? It
know.
always drove me nuts in Nightmare on Elm Street how Nancy has been awake for a day and a half, and her brilliant idea is to get into a warm bath.
Oh my god, right? That like
makes
puts
no
me
sense.
right
Yeah,
to sleep.
you're gonna go right to sleep.
Cold shower.
That's like saying I'm going to go into a car and turn the heat on full blast.
Yeah.
It's the
right.
same deal.
Yeah.
Totally.
So anyway, Mom, you know, strips down, and as you said, that's when you notice her roll tide.
Yeah. Well, I was just like,
wow,
holy hell. there-
even you say roll tide, Brian. Wow.
I said, that's full frontal curtain. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Hey, so what we would like you to do
we loved you in Land
Yeah.
of the Giants.
do you think you could show your beaver? Because we don't really help put butts in seats, you know.
God.
We'll do it eloquently and
I don't feel like you're respecting the female form. Damn it.
Oh,
The cinematographer respected the female form.
have you shaved? 'Cause, ew.
Oh my god.
If
the
not,
both of you are the
here's a
worst.
razor. I used it on my face, but it'll get it done.
Anyway, so yeah, you know, the mom goes and takes a bath, and that's when the elf pops up and just like fucking kills her.
Yeah,
and
if
it's a great moment.
Well, yeah, because he doesn't just like slash her throat.
He doesn't just slash your throat. He throws a clock radio in.
like
Which was
you
way
do.
too close to the bath to begin
Yeah.
with. That bothered me.
Yeah.
That was bound to happen anyways without an elf.
I mean, I never understood why people would have radios in the bathroom that
Yeah.
aren't properly designed for.
Well, they
a
want to listen to
bathroom.
music and nobody thinks they're going to electrocute themselves.
No.
Well, this is before cell phones, guys. Now we just put it on our phone, you know?
Yeah.
Dude, we have waterproof like Wi-Fi speakers that can
Exactly.
get that done.
Exactly. So anyway,
Times were dark.
mom gets electrocuted. You know, fake titties all over the place, and you know she dies. Dan Haggerty comes in and is like, "Oh, your mom's fine." Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Like he's like, "Oh, she's okay."
Well, he's got
She's
bigger
okay.
fish to fry right now, yeah.
He's got Nazis to fry.
Yeah,
In case you're wondering,
he can't
too,
have
like,
a hysterical.
you guys
situation.
haven't mentioned the elf for a real long time. Yeah, it's because he just kind of
He
disappears.
just appears and
Well, he's
reappears.
busy
While
murdering
Dan's
mom
doing
and
his
then he
research and
disappears.
shit, you know, and the
Yeah.
Nazis are trying to blow him up in his car.
Yeah. So, and as I said, that comes to the point where the Nazis and Dan Haggerty again confront. Grandpa gets shot by one of them because he tries to stop him, and
He's a good Nazi.
he's a good Nazi. He's a redeemed Nazi, if there is such a thing.
And I would never like that either because the movie was trying to tell us that he was like okay, but it was like no, but like Nazi.
Well,
You're a Nazi,
yeah, wait,
buddy.
a brilliant Nazi who snuck away to America, shouldn't he be working for NASA? Suck on that one, NASA.
Ouch.
Suck on that one, Werner von Braun.
Yeah, right?
Ouch.
And many others.
Yeah. So anyway, Grandpa dies, and apparently Dan Haggerty gets shot too.
Yeah.
He's
We
like-
never really.
But he's like hero, so he's like fine.
Well, they never
We
showed
never-
a muzzle flash. They never had the sound of the gun go on. You just see the Nazi like pull the gun out, and then Dan Haggerty falls back. But there's no muzzle flash. Gun didn't go off.
Well, muzzle flashes aren't cheap, kids.
No, they aren't. No, they aren't.
We're not going to buy blanks. Those are expensive.
Yeah. So Kirsten
We blew our
and
money on Jonathan Lipnicki.
Kirsten and her younger brother kind of run in the woods.
Who's named Willie, by the way. I don't think we've mentioned that,
No.
but like it's so good.
No, his name is not Willie.
Yes, it is with a Y, which is like how the wiener
God.
euphemism is spelled.
Willie Pecker. Yeah.
Sorry,
That's
as you
horrible.
were.
As I was. So they run to the woods because, you know, that's a horror trope. Run away into the woods. And the elf basically stalks them. And somehow, what was he? Does he cut Kirsten?
It seems
Well,
like it.
You know, honestly, it really looks like an elderly dog who wants comfort is just, you know, and you're like, no, I don't want to snuggle, but the dog is just like delicately putting its arm on you because the puppet doesn't work at all.
Well,
so
I
she's
think
like, go get help, you know, younger
Yeah.
brother. And the thing is like tapping at her.
Well, that's the thing is I don't know.
Tapping, a
I don't
deadly
know
tapping.
how she got on the ground to begin with.
Because that's how the shot started, and they
Yes,
didn't have any
like I don't
explanation
know
shot.
how that happened. So, but I know
Right.
the one older Nazi is chasing after her, and the fucking elf shoots him. So he knows how to operate a gun.
Yeah.
You know, and Kirsten is basically like trying to force off the elf because the elf has to rape her to create.
They have to like
the
impregnate
Superman.
her.
Okay.
Yeah.
And basically, but between this time, you get the little brother running back because apparently when they were running out of the den, they forgot to grab the elf killing knife that they needed.
You know,
the stone.
I frequently leave the house without my elf killing knife.
I know,
I
right?
it all the
You
time.
always do that. It drives me crazy.
I know, because it's like, oh, do you have your keys, babe? Like, yeah. Do you have your wallet? Yeah. Do you have your elf killing knife? Oh, we gotta go back.
I know. You know, priorities, right?
Right?
It should be right next to my Nazi grandfather's wheelchair.
I got it right next to the Ark of the Covenant, and you know, the chalice that brings forever.
so yeah,
youth,
so like,
you know?
don't forget that shit. You know.
Yeah. So anyway, but while we're cutting back and forth, she's just like, as you said, you know, get away. You know, trying to push the elf away,
And you know the puppeteers are off, so just kind of like bashing it into her.
Yeah.
Because like they don't have any motors for the arms.
Oh,
or the-
yeah.
So they're just kind of hitting her with it.
Yeah.
And
And
even
yeah.
apparently the elf is even distracted because I find this funny. You know, he's trying to rape this woman, but he's still, you know, he's an elf,
Right.
And he's hungry, so he decides to stop raping her for a second to grab a bite,
Yeah.
to eat off the cockroach that's on the ground,
Yeah, that was.
and then
weird.
tries to give her some. Like, hey, you know, I love you. Eat
Here,
some
will it help
cockroach.
if I buy you dinner first?
I bought you dinner.
Well, I mean, Brian, haven't
See.
you ever been in the middle of foreplay and then you just immediately stop for a sloppy Joe? I mean, we've all been there.
I don't think I mix my food with my sex.
Hey, I'll be right back, honey. I'm gonna go have a hot dog.
I can't think of anything sexier than like stopping the act of coitus to have some sloppy Joe.
You guys ever watch Seinfeld?
I didn't.
Here and there.
No, I'm not a big
Okay,
fan.
here and there. There's an
Not a
episode of Seinfeld which this reminds me of, and it's where George basically he gets aroused by food because he mixes his food with his sex, and even Jerry says, "You've got both mixed together. You can't have both mixed together." And so, like, pastrami now turns George on
Oh, why would something with such a smell turn you on? That's so
because
wrong.
he mixes food with sex. But that's just what this reminded me of.
Well, yeah, don't do
Speaking
it.
of pastrami, the mother character in the hot tub. No, we already finished that. I'm sorry.
Whoa.
You already did that bit.
Yeah.
No more beef curtain.
So,
You're welcome.
thanks, Lane.
Anytime.
So anyway, the brother comes back with the fucking stone knife thing, and she puts two and two together. That she has to stab the ground. We don't know why that's the case, but apparently that's what she has to do.
He also gets Dan Haggerty, and for some reason, I guess they decided to try to show this almost in real time. Like, that little kid is running to his house
Yeah.
for like
Yeah.
4 or 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, it's belabored and
guys,
terrible.
There are editing tricks to make him like run off camera, and then maybe one shot through the woods, and then he's at the house. Nobody is gonna question
Yeah,
it.
right.
There
Because
were-
when
So
they
true.
when him and Dan Haggerty get back, they get back in like 10 seconds, which they should have done for the
Yeah.
other
Well,
shot.
There was a
Exactly.
lot of that in this.
Yeah.
Let's be honest here. There was a lot of things that you're just like, did we need to see Dan Haggerty come out of the library, go into his car,
Nope, didn't
start up
need
the
it.
car, and drive over the car, and then
Didn't
cut
need
to
it.
the scene of the Nazi looking at it saying, "Oh, I can't wait to blow him up." Like there are things like that in this. And then there's this
Yeah,
lack of
agreed.
coverage.
Agreed.
Like there's the grandfather has a conversation with a Nazi that never cuts away to the other Nazi talking
Nope.
to him. It's just the Nazi with a gun, camera on the grandfather, and that's it.
Well,
It's rough.
I think there's two things with that. One, the editor probably looked at this footage and said, "Oh fuck," and was just dead inside from the beginning. So I'm going to just
fuck.
get all the shots that are in the script. He leaves the building. He gets into the car. Like, he's not trying to make something in quality. He's just trying to get his paycheck. And number two, they had to probably run the padding time, because if they did cut this thing down, it probably would have fallen out of feature length.
See, I think
It's 89
True.
minutes.
I think it's
That's
called.
true, John.
I think it's called. They didn't shoot it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think they didn't get the coverage. I don't think they even. I think they said, well, the main person of this scene is the grandfather, so there's really no need to show the face of the person he's talking to. We
Which
don't need to
is
see that. That's
wrong.
extraneous stuff. Let's just shoot the grandfather. We only got so much time
and only so much film stock.
and someone
Get
so
it
much
done.
film
and we're
stock.
out of money to buy more film stock.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So anyway, brother gets back, gives Kirsten the stone knife. She puts two and two together. She has to stab the ground. Ground gets stabbed.
Kablooey.
And it
Kablooey.
explodes everything,
Kablamo.
like in a surprising.
Can you imagine that smell?
Oh my gosh,
Oh.
I cannot. I cannot.
Ugh. Jonathan Lipnicki everywhere. Just the stink.
But we get this really bizarro, like they knew they had all these special effects filters they could throw in the footage, so they're just like, let's just throw them all on. We got smoke and fire and really blurred MTV.
Surely
effects.
this won't age horribly.
Yes, people get it. So after what seems like 5 minutes of terrible effects of the elf dying, we get a shot of Kirsten and her brother in the woods on Christmas Day, and it's snowing.
It's beautiful.
The same little brother that wanted to see her tits.
Yep.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. It's
Just like 2 days ago.
And it's supposed to be heartwarming, like this moment that they've survived together. Like it's supposed to be something great. Like, but it's you set it up where he wanted to see her tits in the first part of that movie, and I hated him after that. Like, couldn't get there,
and
guys.
And the whole thing
Sorry.
ends with an overlay of a fetus.
The worst.
Letting us know that elf got the job done, apparently.
What the fuck?
The ending is so confusing.
That is a what the
This
fuck
is
moment.
So
I was like,
confusing.
at
It
what
really
time?
is.
At what time did the elf rape her?
See,
When?
and she was in pants. Like, maybe she was in a skirt and she forgot to wear panties that day. He had a little bit of pre-cum because he was excited and it bumped into her.
You've given this already way more thought than I ever want to think about it.
Yeah,
This
her
is
pants
perfect.
never came
Remember
off.
when I said horrible thing you ever said? Yeah, this now just updated it.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it's always going to be a thing.
no, it's not like the elf is Irish either. He's German. Like, Irish people can just look at each other and the woman's pregnant.
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
Let's take
Wow.
it easy on Irish people,
Wow.
John, for God's sake.
Oh, another one. What we're gonna name this one?
John, stop.
Yeah, so you basically
It makes no sense.
Well, it makes no sense. It's supposed to say, "Aha, see, the master race is gonna happen," and there might be a sequel because that's a sequel bait right there.
Right.
That's sequel
It is.
bait.
Why don't they just do a shot? Because obviously, for a variety of reasons, they do not want to try to show the puppet being involved in coitus with a human being. But
I don't know why, because just a couple of years later, you had Jack Frost fucking a woman.
which is a snowman.
Yes, a snowman.
True.
You had a snowman
True.
having sex
Which
with a woman.
is the horror movie, not the Michael Keaton version.
No.
I get that confused a lot. I get confused a lot.
not Michael
Why-
Keaton's lovable snowman.
But
fucking
why
woman.
didn't they do a shot where he puts his hand on her stomach and then the hand glows and he gets you can't do a facial expression because
Right.
but
But
kind of
yeah.
laughs or something. And
Well,
it's
he
Yeah.
could do the laughter.
Yeah, that you could do the laughing
did-
and
he
and
did the-
menacing music. I mean, music tells you all the time what to feel in a movie, for
Well,
sure.
I think this was supposed to be their gotcha moment. That's what it was supposed to be. It's
I
like,
But there needs to be some kind of
Oh.
explanation. I mean, are we supposed to believe that when the little boy was running and we're watching him in real time that the puppet took her to Pound Town?
yes.
Okay.
the puppet.
That's
took
why
her to
she was
Pound
so
Town.
calm.
Yeah.
That's why she was so calm when he came back. She was like, "Oh, Willie, I'm over here."
Maybe she's just smoking best fuck of my life.
Oh my God. Well, that elf.
The elf is just going like,
Well, the elf had to get it done.
"Yeah."
Well, the elf had to get it done because he would have had to get her pregnant on the first go because it has to be a virgin. And she's the last virgin of that line or whatever of
And it's not
incest grandpa.
it's not like they could have gone to the doctor and got in vitro fertilization or anything like that. He had to get it done right
to get
then
it
and
done.
there.
He had to
Maybe he
work
had
on
a
it.
turkey baster with him, full of his supply.
Excellent. This.
He picked it up at the mall.
I didn't think this could get grosser.
leave, let me grab this turkey baster.
I was wrong.
Yeah. So that's Elves, folks.
Yeah, we're not kidding. That's
Fucking
actually how
elves.
it ends. It's ridiculous.
So, before we close out on this,
This is a real movie.
It's a real movie.
This is a real movie, folks. First of all.
do not
We
recommend.
wouldn't even have made this
No, I
up because we would have been oh no, that's too far. We're going to look like weirdo perverts.
yeah.
I actually, I'm usually pretty hard on movies like this, but this one I do recommend, especially if you can watch it with friends, because it's just insane. It's absolutely insane.
Be drunk and with friends.
I would say if you have watched Troll 2 and you've watched basically every bad movie you could think of, that's of quality.
Or if you're feeling festive.
Okay, but that's just of quality. The old standards are, Plan 9 from Outer Space, Troll
Right,
2,
true. The
Room,
classics.
the classics, if you will. If you're looking for something different and you're looking for you're really aficionado of terrible movies, this is for you. I will say that.
Guys, by the way, we've mentioned The Room multiple times in this episode. We have not mentioned the Greg Sestero bumper at the top of the episode.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
yeah, that's
we
right.
Didn't. We
Yeah,
didn't.
which is
New
he played,
friend of the show,
Yeah,
Greg Sestero.
he played. Oh, hi, Mark. Yeah, he was Mark in The Room, Super nice guy. We got to meet him, and he will be a guest on our show here in the future. So
Yeah, we're
be on
really
the lookout
excited.
for that.
This is a great get.
But yeah,
for us.
so and thank you, Mark, for Mark.
Greg.
Sorry, yeah,
Oh my
thank you,
God.
Greg,
Oh, thank you,
We're
for
off.
doing that bumper for us at the top of the show.
That's true,
Not to
that's true.
derail things, but I can't believe we didn't.
I
mention
know,
it.
it's true.
We were trying to be all cool about
We're
it,
trying
and
to be
I
like,
ruined
cool.
it.
That's all right.
Yeah.
It's
Do you
all
want
right.
to give me your final thoughts, guys, on fucking Elves?
Well, like I said, I mean, I think that it's just so
Well, I don't think
absurd.
you
You
should
should
fucking
watch it. One of the things I think really helps is I think that oh God, I forget her name already. I wanted to say Julie Andrews. It's Julie Austin.
That'd be great.
Julie Austin. She did. I mean, I thought she was like pretty good in this, and like that kind of helps keep you grounded. Like if you can connect with the main character in an awful movie like this, I think that really helps. So like that's a good part of it. But like it's just bananas, you guys. Like you won't believe it unless you see it, and you can watch it on YouTube for free. So you really have nothing to lose.
It's just fucking terrible. Fucking terrible movie.
It's crazy, but
What's interesting to note is that, I mean, I don't know if this is confirmed or not, but Julie Austin is not an actress anymore.
she's not working as an actress
Anymore.
anymore.
No.
Well, we can't confirm
can't
100%
confirm.
this is her.
Yeah,
cannot
we think
confirm.
she went on to like a different career, but
Yes. We
But
can't confirm.
she had a few credits, but they stopped in 1993.
Terrible
so,
movies again.
Yeah, but she was all right in this, and I don't know. I mean, John, you're the one that brought fucking elves into our lives. What are your final thoughts?
Well, I love this movie because it is one of those shameless schlock movies that they do everything wrong, and I'm not even just talking about production. The lessons that they put out in the movie, the characters, what they say and do, like it's just one of those movies where you're like, oh, they shouldn't say that, or oh, they shouldn't have done that, or like Lane, the things you mentioned about, I'd just rather lie there why some guy,
Oh, God, no.
just gives it to me when I don't want it. Like it's that type of garbage movie, and it's so fascinating to me that it came out in October because I'm thinking to myself, why is it a Christmas movie, especially if you don't release it at Christmas? And it's just a hot mess, and like it's riddled with you watch a lot of bad movies like Manos, The Hands of Fate.
Oh God,
That
where
one's painful.
It's just so boring, and you think to yourself like, this one has things in it that if you're just told, like if you just listen to this podcast and haven't seen it, that there are Nazis, Nazi elves, a cat drowning in a toilet, that a man gets his crotch stabbed off. You're like, I gotta see this. This sounds crazy. And I will admit, there are a lot of this movie
bananas.
that's
I think
boring
so.
and slow, but the parts where it makes up for it makes up for it big time. Which and the puppet is so fucking stupid. It is
and
just
it's a
so
shame
poorly
because
made.
The effects guy, at first, I think he kind of came to terms with cult fame, like with like anybody, but the effects guy was like embarrassed about this after the fact because it just like didn't turn out like he envisioned. And when he saw the movie, he was like, "This isn't anything that I wanted for this,"
And two examples on that. The 1990s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. The only thing they have to get right in that is that the turtles have to look perfect, which they did.
Yeah, it's true.
Empire Strikes Back. If
Yoda
they
had
have
to
to
work.
nail Yoda or
Had
it's
to
not
work.
going to work.
Yeah.
In this movie, the only thing they had to do right
The
was
elf.
the puppet. And the thing is, the face doesn't work. The arms don't work. It is
Yeah.
a fucking nightmare.
It doesn't work,
they
you know?
blew it and they still just carried on production.
Yeah,
But
same thing with Hobgoblins. Like it didn't work. The effects didn't work.
Yeah, I think it's hysterically funny, and I would if you like ironic Christmas movies like bad ones or horror ones, just to kind of mix it up this time of year, I would really suggest watching this. You probably will never watch it after the first time, but
No,
but
it's
you
not
if
a
you're with a
yearly
couple of
tradition.
buddies, yeah, you're gonna laugh your ass off at this because it's just
That's
a
fair.
mess top to
That's
bottom.
fair.
my final thoughts on it: cinematography shit, dialogue shit, acting shit,
But it's like fun
story shit. But as I said earlier in the episode, you can tell that the filmmakers, even though they were flawed, really flawed, cared about the movie that they were making, at least to the point that it came across on the when
Sure.
watching it that it was something that they cared about. They were trying to do I'm not going to say good job, but they were trying to do a passable job. They were trying to. They actually believed
Trying
in
to
kind
create
of what they were making.
something, sure.
And I mean, as I said, every B movie that you see that's worth its salt, they have that element to it. Audiences who are like us who appreciate terrible fucking movies, we can spot
Right.
the genuine article a mile away, and we can also spot, ones that are just trying to cash in. That's why you'll never see us review Sharknado on this show. It's just never going to happen.
Because they
was
tried
made
to
to be
be
bad.
funny.
Yes.
They wanted it to be
Yes.
bad.
We will never, ever, ever, ever review any of the Sharknado movies or anything done by the Asylum, okay? Because those movies are
Which is a
basically...
production
Which
house.
is a production house. Because those movies are all designed to cash in on the so bad it's good cliche. But the thing is, with Elves, even though it is a fucking terrible, slow movie that really is painful to watch, it is genuine in the, at least, appreciation that the filmmakers had for the story they were trying to tell. It just was executed really badly,
Yeah,
And-
it's true. It's true.
And it's a festive, wonderful holiday treat for the whole family. Just put this one on Christmas with some cocoa and yeah.
I mean, that cocoa better be spiked with some really good shit, to get through this. So, that's Elves, everybody. Now, we got a live show kind of coming up, don't we? Do you want to talk about that?
Oh yeah, well,
you want to mention
it's,
this?
It's like a mini-sode.
It's a mini-sode.
And it's in its early stages. We'll have some more details that we'll be releasing on our social media this week. But we will be joining the Row House Theater for Video Valley on December 28th.
We can't reveal what the movie is.
Oh, no. The whole idea is that you come and it's going to be fun. So, but it's the 28th at 10 o'clock at Row House Cinema here in the Lawrenceville neighborhood of Pittsburgh. We're really excited to be a part of it. We're going to be talking a little bit about the film beforehand and, just kind of getting a little bit of information out there. We'll be doing it live, for the audience there, and then we'll be able to throw the episode up on our page as well. So, something to look out for.
It'll be a shorter guide. It'll be about 20 to 25 minutes because the whole point, is to show the movie there. Right. So we're going to do a little bit of discussion on said movie that we can't mention yet because that's part of the whole shtick. As you find out when you get there. And then they're gonna, run the movie. So it's not gonna be a full length thing, and that'll basically close us out for the year. We're gonna take a little bit of time here to enjoy the holidays, and we will be back in early January with you guys. We'll be doing.
John's got a lot of stuff planned for 2019.
we're gonna start
a lot of
off.
shit planned.
We're gonna start off with our year in review. So we're gonna kind of look at 2018 and how we were the way we were then.
We were so young when we started.
And so, but we'll, in case we don't have a chance to talk to you guys again, have a Merry Christmas or Happy Hanukkah or
Happy Kwanzaa,
or a great Yule,
Festive Yule,
Festive
Blessed
Yule.
Yule,
Blessed Yule.
Yule.
Yes.
or whatever you may happen to celebrate, and have a wonderful New Year.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yes. So
Then where can they find you on the Twitter machine?
you can find me at LA_Croft.
John?
The Unreal James.
You can find me at Brian Kindhouse. We're on the Psycho Show page. Be sure to like us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google+, at Psycho Show. You can also find us on the Epicast Network at epicastnetwork.com. If you have a favorite movie or question you want to throw away, you want to talk to us about your issues dealing with incest Nazi elves, you can contact us at cinemapsychoshow.com. And make sure to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts and iTunes and catch a new episode available every Sunday.
Are we going to be all right?
No, Willie. Gramps is a Nazi.